Welcome, welcome. This is Gul Khan, your money mindset expert, and I'm here today with the beautiful, the intelligent, the magnificent Nafisa Allen. Welcome, Nafisa.
Hi, Gul. Good to be with you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Nafisa. Nafisa is part of the Millionaire Mindset Mastermind, and she's going to be giving her feedback about the mastermind. So, before we begin, Nafisa, tell everybody what it is that you do, Nafisa.
I do a little bit of everything. so I'm a writer. I do communication strategy, and have just really kind of been over the last couple of years, sort of a Jacqueline of all trades when it comes to creative and content. So I've done lots of things. I'm a writer and have really done a lot with like self-publishing and book publishing as of late. So a little bit of everything is what I say.
Awesome, fantastic. So let's dive right in, Nafisa. So Nafisa, what was your mindset like before you joined the mastermind? What kind of relationship did you have with money before?
Sure. I had a lot of limitations about how much I thought that I deserved to earn and how much I had to work to get it. So I think, I have a really strong like finance background and personal finance like knowledge. So I think I had been looking for a while to really like figure out why my money story was so limiting, because I did know a lot. And I was like, why am I still like kind of under earning? I don't get it. Like what, I know all the tools, I know how to trade, I know how, right? So I think it was really just about like trying to figure out what was going on in my own head that was really stopping me from earning more.
Fantastic. And so that's just generally tends to be the kind of person who comes to us. They have all the tools and strategies and know-how, but something still is missing, and they're trying to figure out the missing link or the missing piece. And so how did you come across me? How did you find me? Well, how did you?
I have no idea, actually. I think it was probably through a podcast. I mean, because I listened to like Bigger Pockets and How I Built This and a bunch of other finance podcasts. So I think yours eventually got, suggested to me as like one I should check out. Okay. And then I just sort of dug into it and like, just from the beginning episodes, because I think by the time I got into it, you were already in the hundreds, but I just started from one and was just like, I like what she has to say. I think particularly on toxic money at the time, I was really trying to figure out like, why am I so resentful about some of the money sources that were in my life, even though I was getting pretty decent money from them. So I feel like that really resonated with me and felt like I needed to dig in more, and then just got in the rabbit hole with you, and here we are.
It literally is going down the rabbit hole at one point, isn't it? Yeah. It is a bit crazy out there. Okay, fantastic. So you obviously came through, you went to did the abundance workshop, and then came into the mastermind. Now, since joining the mastermind, what kind of results have you had? What kind of experience have you had?
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of surreal, right? Because I think when you join, you're just like, oh, there's so many other things going on. Like, it can't be because of the mastermind, right? Like, it can't be because I changed my mindset.
You explain it away. You explain it away.
Like, yeah, no, but I mean, I feel like since I started, which wasn't that long ago, right?
No, it was
like
a couple of months ago,
2 months ago or so.
Yeah.
I finally got a cash settlement that I've been waiting for like months. Like, I mean, it had just been like so long, and the whole thing was like 2 years, like from start to finish. And so over the last 2 months, I did receive that. Just really great clients too. I think working through some of the issues that, again, like how I felt about how much I had to work, right? Being like, oh, I've got to work so hard to get a client that pays this much. I feel like I've gotten and been able to land better clients that are willing to pay me just for like my expertise and time, and not really, having to put in a whole lot more effort. I think I just really, the stuff that has really changed for me is really intangible, right? It's not even about money. It's just about assuming that like, I don't have to only get money from one particular source. I think that's one thing we constantly work through, that I'm like, is this a valid source? Is this okay? And you're like, if it's coming to you, it's okay, right? Like I feel like I always kind of count money. I wasn't very organized about it. Like, again, I've like got a bunch of investments, and just I'm like, I don't know how much it's paying me. And now I'm like, no, like, I have to keep track of that. Like, I have to know where it's going to, where it's coming from, and just like make sure that I'm not, putting all this emotional weight on it sometimes. So that's been really great. And I think it's also just been helpful to rethink how I feel about debt too. Because I do have a business. And so I think for a long time I was like, oh, debt is bad. I'm not supposed to have debt. And I'm like, yeah, but you need debt. So I think, again, my relationship with debt was also really confusing and probably getting in my way. And I think working through that through some of the modules has been helpful too.
Awesome. And that's one of the things, one of the modules in the masterminds is debt. And we completely reframe your idea of what debt means. So it doesn't matter how you got into it, good or bad debt. But even if you are in bad debt, you can slowly change your mindset around it, and we can get out there. So that's great. Now, the two main aspects to the mastermind, which makes it really, really different from everything else out there, apart from the mindset strategies and stuff, etc., it's the energy clearings and the manifestation calls, the bi-weekly manifestation calls. So let's start with the energy clearings. Now that's something really outside the box, is really different and very unique. Yeah. How has your experience been with the energy clearings?
It's so funny. So I always tell my husband, I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to sleep through them, but I'm sleeping through them. So I mean, I feel like the energy clearings for me are great, right? I feel like I think in a spiritual sense, that's one of the things I really like about your work, is because I think for me, a lot of the other personal finance folks are coming from a Christian perspective or using biblical references. And I feel like this for me just feels universal and just it's just everybody can understand karma and energy and your thoughts and that kind of stuff. So I think at the beginning I was just I don't really know what this is, but I'm going to sit through it. And now it's just it's very meditative, right?
It is, yeah.
I just, I feel like at the end of the day, I mean, we talked about this before. I was really overwhelmed at the beginning, just being well, when do I do this? And how do I fit this in? And
because you are very, very busy. You're a full-time mother as well. So yeah.
But yeah, no, now I've got it down into a routine. So kind of the beginning of my day, my end of my day includes this, right? Includes doing an energy clearing or listening to one of your, one of the sessions before an energy clearing, and just trying to sit with it for a little while and just understand what it means for me. So yeah, energy clearings are great. I think I don't know if I'm doing them right, but they feel like they're sinking in.
They are. I mean, just to recap, if you ever come across someone for the first time, if you hear it for the first time, it sounds shocking that someone can fall asleep into those, but they are quite deep, and that's the reason why. And I always say the first couple of times I want you to be sitting upright, but from then onwards you can be in a lying position and fall asleep, because you're naturally inclined to go to sleep anyway. So even when you're sleeping, it does so much. The energy clearings are working at such deep levels, it doesn't really matter. But the first couple of times I do want you to be at least sitting upright, even if you do fall asleep. And a lot of people do, so it's very normal for people to fall asleep. But if you ever hear an energy clearing, it sounds quite astonishing that anybody can fall asleep to that. So that's interesting. Right?
Yeah.
And the other one, it would be the manifestation call that we do every bi-weekly. So what's your experience been like with the manifestation calls?
I think those are a little bit more for me, more of a guided meditation where you're walking us through what we're seeing and how we're feeling. And for me, I think that's been really important, because one of the things I've really struggled with is being in the emotional place of having achieved what it is I'm dreaming about, right? I think if you're a high achiever, you're always once you get it, you're on to the next thing, right? So you never soak in I've reached my goal. I've got I've got the thing that I was, hoping for. So I feel like those are really helpful for me to just stop and pause and feel what I imagined that would feel like. Just so that when it does happen in the future, I recognize it. Cause I think I just kind of bulldoze through goals and plateaus, right? I'm just I got it already. And I never really recognize how far I've come. So I think those those calls have been really great for me. And then also just to hear everybody else's feedback, right? Just to be in a space with other people who are also big dreamers and big doers is nice. Because I think everybody I shouldn't speak for everybody, but in my opinion, I have felt really isolated in wanting to reach these money goals and wanting to feel that I deserve it, right? Feel that it's, it's there for me. So I think being on those calls with other people who feel that too is really powerful.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is important. It's a safe place to be. Plus, I think one of the biggest the benefits of being on these manifestation calls is the group collective energy, which allows you to connect to your goal emotionally that much more strongly. I think I always say the stronger the emotions, the stronger the emotional memory, the faster your manifestation will appear in your 3D world. And these calls are really, really powerful for that regard. But okay, so thank you so much for that. So now let's ask your other question. Now, everyone, you know this, and you are super, super busy. You've got 2 kids, you've got a full-time job, and you've got a lot of work on the side with clients, and you're writing your own stuff, and you're literally like a superwoman, right? So even with your busy schedule, you still made a commitment to join the mastermind, financially, of course, but also time-wise. Now, what advice would you give to someone who's on the sidelines thinking, this sounds really good. I really resonate with Girls Energy, and the energy clearings are wonderful, but I'm not sure I can commit financially or time-wise to the mastermind, not at the moment. What would be your advice to someone like that?
Yeah, I mean, number one, it's not for everybody, right?
No,
so
I think
that's a huge,
we know that,
that's a huge part, right? Like just because like you really enjoy the podcast doesn't mean you should like go down this path, right? I think it's really for people who, again, have tried a bunch of other things, right? Like I don't think anybody in this group, this is their first step towards, like financial achievement, right? Or like figuring out what's going on in their lives. I think this is probably my 3rd or 4th, right? Like attempt at being like, okay, I've got this knowledge base, but something's still missing. I've got this knowledge base, but something's still missing. So I think it's really for those people who feel like it's not about like, accounting. It's not about taxes, right? It's not about like learning how to trade. It's about like something in your aura and your belief system needs repair. So I think for me, if you think of it the same way you think of like therapy almost, right? Like you might be like, I don't know when I'm going to fit it in, but like, I know that like my soul needs it. I think that's when it just registered. And for me, I think that happened maybe around month 2 when I was like, oh, okay. Like I feel better after I do this, right? Like I feel better with my ambitions. I feel better about like goal setting for my business. I feel better about just setting boundaries with my job. Like all of those things just felt better when I dug into it from that mindset of like, it's more about my mental health. It's more about my like, spiritual health than it is about money. And so, yeah, I think you also really helped me to ground like a morning routine and an evening routine, as opposed to trying to like fit it in during the middle of the day or like, I am one of those, I did not do, I know some people are like, oh, like download it, put it on your phone, listen to it and like, do this. And I'm like, I can't, like, I kind of need to just like have it be my wake up call and my like wind down. And that's really worked well for me and for my family too.
Yeah, and we discussed it on the manifestation roadmap call. So yeah, I'm quite particular with that to make sure that this fits in with your lifestyle. It's because 12 months is a long period, and it needs to fit in not for a week or 2, but for the 12 months, and hopefully for the remainder of the time as well, as even when you graduate from the manifestation from the mastermind. Well, okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and ideas and experience of being in the mastermind. What would be your parting thoughts or ideas to anybody?
Your goals are going to be scary, but then you're going to beat them. I think
we started. They were pretty scary for you, but you achieved.
I'm so freaked out, but I'm like, oh, okay, I'm on track for the next one. I mean, we started with a really ambitious goal at the beginning, and we've already passed it, and now I'm like, oh, okay. The scary goal that we set,
it was a scary goal number 2. You're very reluctant to set it. I remember.
I was very scared, and I'm still scared of this one, but I think that's part of it, right? Like, it's like knowing that you can still do it. Like, you're going to do it scared, right? You're not going to feel comfortable, right? But like, then you'll do it. And then you're like, holy crap, I can't believe I was able to do that. Right. So I think that's, you're going to surprise yourself the whole time, right? You'll be scared and surprised and excited. And I think it just really awakens that capacity in you to feel like you can do anything. And I really appreciated that.
We do stretch it, and I personally do stretch it. I not to the point of breaking point, but I do stretch it, make it really uncomfortable, because I know you'll achieve it and you actually surpass it, which you have done, which is amazing. Well, thank you so much for being such an amazing member of the mastermind. Tell us, Nafisa, how can we connect with you, and how can we find you online?
Sure. I'm at NafisaAllen.com. So NafisaAllen.com. So that's where you can find me for writing or ghostwriting or editing and all that other stuff. And then I run a business called BlackHistoryBookshelf.com, which has lots of great books and histories from around the world. So those are the places where you can find me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nafisa. And thank you for being such an amazing member. And I'm super, super proud of you and everything you're doing in the mastermind. And especially the fact that you're committed to it and you are doing your daily rituals and your daily tasks, even though your tasks are as high as a mountain. So I really value that and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And for those listening, thank you so much for listening to me and Nafisa. I will be back with another mastermind alumni or a member celebrating their success and showing you that you too can achieve great success as long as you put your mind to it, as long as you're willing to work on your energy and your mindset. Until the next time we meet, this is Gul Khan signing off. Take care and bye for now.
Bye.